Hi, welcome. So this is the decree. So this is part 13. 13 as a number has been judged wrongly. That's another conversation another time. So this is part 13, and it is the Lightworkers Fear Release decree. Okay, so the core principle with the decree is I am sovereign. I release what is not mine, and it is done. So in all my sessions and everything I do, the higher self leads and I help it land. So landing in the inner body into the compass. So the main message of the decree is the decree supports a deeper level of change by working directly with what your body is holding. And so if something needs to be noticed, the body will already be giving a message. Okay, and then insight can become real movement in your life. So the process of the decree is actually really simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to write the decree on one single piece of paper. Okay, so not more. You're going to use the front and the back, and you're going to start writing at the very top. Okay, and I'm going to tell you, what to write or the suggestion or the concept, and then you decide if you want to write it on your decree. Okay, you're the boss. Okay, so we're going to write it and then you're going to speak it out loud 3 times. And you're going to notice how your body responds to speaking it out loud 3 times. Many people feel very tired. They can feel very overwhelmed. They can feel like they can't do it. They can't finish reading it out loud or they can't finish writing it. And so notice that, it's just a piece of paper. How come it's so much is happening with the body? But the body is expressing what the body has been holding. And then we're going to burn the decree. So you're going to need a lighter. You're going to need a pen or maybe a couple pens. And you're going to need a pot. And you're going to need some sea salt. And so, preparations part 1 to 5 of the decree are really important with every decree that you do. But you're going to go in the kitchen and you're going to put your piece of paper. Oops, kind of loud. You're going to put your piece of paper. Once you have it written, you're going to fold it 3 times. And then have some tongs and you're going to light it and then you're going to place it in the pot. And it can smoke quite a bit and the flame can go quite high, even though it's just only one piece of paper. So that's why I say do it in the kitchen and, put the exhaust on and also turn, the fan on. And then you're going to sprinkle the ashes with some salt. Sea salt seals the ashes and then you're going to flush them down the toilet. They are not a keepsake. Do not keep them. And then just make sure all the ashes go down the toilet. Okay, so your body, you're witnessing the shifts in your body and you're noticing how your body gets affected and what needs to get released. Okay, so the emphasis is on your awareness and your authority. So seer and higher self work is directly connected to source. There's no intermediaries because we're going through the heart, connecting to source, connecting to the inner body, which is the compass. And then your body is confirming if things are a yes or a no. If your body has a reaction, it's whatever the body has been holding could have been there for lifetimes. And especially with light worker work, it could be there for lifetimes. So the guidance arises in conscious presence through the heart and then connecting to the inner compass of the body. It allows for precise, grounded, insightful insight that integrates immediately into real life. Okay, so seer work as a seer, I know my lifetimes, any timelines I've been on Earth, and then some not on Earth, but I focus on this present body and this present life, so I don't go off into, fantasy land. I am embodied in this body and I appreciate my body. So seer work is regulated in clarity and it is stable and sustainable. It is like an orientation and an integration. So as a seer, this work includes verification, like I said, with the body. So the body always tells the truth. The body doesn't lie. The body is the golden key. And you'll perceive, adjust, and confirm the integration, and you'll feel it in the body. But it's simple, it's just one piece of paper that you're folding 3 times, right? But you're going to notice how much happens to the body. So as a seer, we're always looking at the current landscape, but we're also looking at multiple timelines to see the clearest path forward. And we check on the body and the nervous system for responses and shifts to land. And as a seer, I have multi-dimensional sight. I have all my senses, my hearing, my seeing, my smelling, tasting, knowing. And it's a direct connection to source. But so are you. Source spark, direct connection to source. So no intermediaries, meaning we're not looking to have somebody else in between us when we're communicating with source. So just truth, fully conscious, eyes open. So insight arises, in real time. So seer work is precise because it is embodied. The nervous system has to say yes. The lymphatic system has to say yes. The cells have to say yes. So, the body has been given a bad rap in 3D, but that's because it is so valuable. Because with a body, we can actually see what is interfering with us. Without a body, if we're in other time spaces, we can be confused without a body because then we can't tell, are we up, are we down, or what is going on. It is an honor to be in a body. And light workers don't like being in a body because they feel like they were trapped or tricked. But you can actually now heal and release what is no longer for your highest and greatest good by noticing what is happening for your body. And I picked flowers on purpose, the orange, the sacral chakra, which is the most difficult for light workers, the second chakra, 2 inches below the belly button, relationships. And then the yellow flowers above, where the ribs meet, the solar plexus, is our power center, our boundaries. So it's like seer work is precise because it is embodied. And this precision is with the body. We don't leave the body. We don't go anywhere. It's like a surgeon operating in a quiet, no drama, just focused and exact. And that's what this work is like. So channeling in contrast is like an altered trance state where another entity comes into your body. And it feels otherworldly, it feels dramatic, it can appear powerful. And it feels, but it's external, it's separate. Another entity comes in. It's like lightning strikes. It's dramatic, it's powerful. But the decree supports a deeper level of change by working directly with your body and what the body is holding. Then real insight emerges, and then real movement happens in your life now, in this present life, with this body now. And this body and this present life matters the most. You can, as a light worker, you can release and clear and heal so much in this life. You can heal and clear all of it to pure consciousness. And then as soon as you are stabilized in 5D, you're helping so many people just by your frequency. Okay, so good job. It's a lot, I know. So as we land here in the present moment, let's ground and connect with the present moment. So get comfortable. Comfort is key. It's really important. You can always light a candle as well. We can mirror candle to candle, flowers to flowers. So as we land here in the present moment, let's connect into our hearts and breathe in and out. Good. We are grounded in Gaia's new 5D earth, heart-based consciousness, loving and supportive energy. Gaia is new earth. We are fully anchored with Gaia, connecting to the crystalline grid. And we give thanks to the ancestors of the land who have walked this path before us with much love and respect. We draw strength from Gaia, and we are centered in our own being, grounded and connected, connecting through the heart to Source. We now open our hearts to Source. Our hearts are a sacred gateway for divine love, wisdom, and healing. We are fully aligned with Source energy, connected to all that is through the golden light of our hearts. Invoking our higher self, the deep I, our soul, for clarity and alignment. We now call upon our higher selves for answers, clearing, and alignment. May our higher selves be fully aligned with Source, guiding the session with love, clarity, and the highest good of all. Protecting this space with Source's golden light. We now surround this space with the golden shield of light, impenetrable, protective. Only energies aligned with unconditional love, Source, and the highest good may enter. May all interferences, false guides, or disruptive energies are all repelled by Source's golden light. The energy work is permanent and aligned with the highest good of all, with Source, with the intention that all energies in this space are fully aligned with Source, unconditional love, and truth. Okay, good. So that was the grounding. So now we can go deeper. We're secure. We can go deeper. So the decree process. So the decree is an energetic severance. So it's a complete energetic severance. Contracts, cords, vows, agreements, they're dissolved. So they're not just released with love and light, which is bypassing. So spiritual bypassing, we've learned that. It's a complete severance. So you're no longer energetically connected. You're no longer obligated in that timeline. You're no longer available for the games, delays, manipulations. It's done. So what light workers need to understand is loyalty without reciprocity is bondage. You are not betraying your essence by cutting anybody off or anything off. You are honoring your essence by refusing to be exploited anymore. And exploitation is where the deep root of fear comes from. It is when something has gone on that you did not consent and you want to revoke consent. And inferred consent is not consent. So Lightworkers' loyalty is meant for the divine, for your divine mission with Source, those who reciprocate with integrity, not for those who steal, lie, and drain you for decades, the dark triad, the archons. So some background in 3D, some 3D. So, all right. The 3D material plane from the Gnostic teaching is controlled by the archons. But today they're called the reptilians and Draco-reptilians. So they are like the administrators for 4D, and they're the 4D are the controllers are called the Anunnaki, Anunnaki. And then archons is Archons. Okay, so the archons, the reptilians, do not have Source spark. They are the guards of the 3D cage. So 4D wants to replicate Source, and play God. But they bribe with offers, money, fame, beauty, power. The archons and reptilians are not creatures lurking in the darkness waiting to possess you. Okay, that's what we're told, but that's just to frighten us so that we don't look deeper. They feed on you, they confuse you with fear, guilt, shame, sadness, fear being the most weapon, the biggest weapon. So this is when you feel unexplained anxiety for no reason or overwhelmed for long periods of time. So every time you're about to break through at a deeper understanding of yourself and something or someone puts you down with confusion, fear, or doubt. In the darkness, it's easy to be deceived by the false light. This is not random. This is how 3D operates. It's the structure of 3D. It's the structure of the 3D material plane. Okay, so to every light worker that has been betrayed, who has been wronged, and been wronged in the most sacred positions available that betray them, you're not naive. You are not spiritually immature. You are not sufficiently discerning. Like, you were not making wrong choices. You are navigating the most sophisticated, precisely calibrated body compass confusing operation available. You are not stupid. This is a sophisticated system that it has been difficult to awaken in, but now many are awakening. And that's you. Okay, so let's affirm out loud. I am here. My body is home. Presence flows. I notice. I honor. I stay. Eyes open. And just feel the words. I am here. My body is home. Presence flows. Good. I notice. I honor. I stay. Eyes open. And again, feel the words. And then one more time, affirm out loud, if you will, if you choose. I am here. My body is home. Presence flows. I notice. I honor. I stay. Eyes open. Feel the words. Okay, good. So this is the spark of consciousness. The remembering. Remembering is from loss of wisdom. The soul, the higher self, the deep I. Through the heart that descends to know itself and ascends in the spiral to remember. So evil is not eternal, but ignorance that has not yet remembered. If I know the darkness, then in its reflection, I see source spark, my eternal connection to source, source mirroring source, the divine mirroring the divine, God mirroring God. So light doesn't destroy darkness, but illuminates it. The decree illuminates what you no longer want in your body, in your field, in your consciousness, and you release it to source in order to surrender to source all that we no longer want to hold. We need to release it, let go, surrender the fear. So the key to break the cycle is to see it, name it, release it to source. And then if you choose, and this is only by choice, and remember, self-care is really important. Do the decree when you have uninterrupted time space. And remember, you are not broken. you are interfered with. So now let's release the interference. Deep breath. Okay. This is a cycle that you're removing. Fear activates confusion. Confusion activates compulsive desire. Desire activates shame. Shame activates fear. Fear activates shame. It's a closed loop, generating the exact emotional energy that feeds the Archon and reptilian system, while you're simply believing that you're having a bad day or a bad decade or bad decades. You know, have you ever noticed that in yourself? A spiral that begins with one anxious thought and ends in hours later in complete emotional exhaustion. That's the interference. And it happens so fast, but we need to start noticing, okay, when did I start feeling anxious? When did my body start feeling uncomfortable? And how come I always feel uncomfortable around this person? Okay, so you're just starting to notice. So this is not random. Okay, this is how the archonic system running its program through you and through all of us in 3D, and it is repeated in lifetimes. So this is basically the process that we're talking about. Okay. So you are a being of source, spark, originating light, carrying a fragment of the original source spark in your body, buried under layers of forgetting, right? And the forgetting is placed there deliberately, not by God's source divine presence, not by karma, not by fate, but by a system designed to keep you asleep. That is 3D material plane. The looping, the stuck for lifetimes. So your emotional energy is used by forces, the Anunnaki, that depend on your unconsciousness and your fear. So in this decree, we name what you sense, what you feel, and even if it feels like a dream or another time space or a nightmare that you don't really know the origination. But as a light worker, by staying in the heart in 5D consciousness, you can help over 700,000 other light workers. Your energy and frequency matter the most. And so people always ask, I want to help as a light worker. I'm here in service to source. How can I help? Stabilize your frequency in 5D, embodied in the body, in the nervous system, right? It's very important. Embody it in the nervous system. And then start manifesting from source consciousness. Okay, so what you're declaring in the decree is that loyalty is sacred, but not to those who violate it. No spiritual bypassing, no love and light, no white light. No forgiveness, not the toxic kind that re-engages you with the frequency that keeps you looping, right? So zero energy leaks to them, to the Archon system, and zero access to your energy, not because of blood, not because of shared incarnations, not because of any reason. Okay, so zero access of your energy unless it is reciprocal, source mirroring source, consciousness mirroring consciousness. And then, why do you want to do this? Essentially because cords are draining. Control cords manipulate your thoughts and emotions, and karma cords are the loops and the do-overs that keep you stuck. Okay, so what you need, again, you just need a piece of paper, blank piece of paper. Okay, we're gonna fold it 3 times after you've written it, and then we're gonna write at the very top, start at the very top, and you'll fill the page. the front and the back. And you need a pen, of course, and something to light your paper on fire. You're going to light it on fire. We're going to do this safely, right? We're adults, we're doing this safely. So I suggest doing it in the kitchen. And you're going to need your pot, your tongs, and then some sea salt to seal the piece of paper, the ashes, basically. Once the paper is burnt, we're going to make sure all parts of the paper have been burnt. So you can, and if you notice, how does this even happen? But you may notice that there's certain parts that don't burn. And then you're going to say, no, I release them to source, and you're going to burn them again. And just, name your space, just affirm only source enters here. All else is refused entry. Call in your team of unconditional love to be present. So God, source, divine presence, higher self. And then, prepare your space. So part 3 and part 4 of the decree, and do the technology decree, part 5. So before every decree that you do all the preparations. It helps your nervous system. And it is very difficult to stay stable in 5D without your nervous system being stable. All right. And then you're going to flush the ashes down the toilet that have been sprinkled with sea salt. Check to make sure all ashes flush and flush again. Okay. So we're going to write it down. We're going to speak it out loud 3 times, and then you're going to burn it. Put ashes on it, put sea salt on it, and then burn it. And then flush the ashes down the toilet, sprinkle it with sea salt, of course, first, okay? So now you can start writing. So grab your piece of paper and then start writing from the very top, and you're going to fill the 2 pieces of paper. I mean, the 2 sides, not the 2 pieces, 1 piece of paper, but both sides. And just notice how your body feels and how your body is responding. Okay, so just start writing I and your full name, your birth date, place of birth, time of birth if you know it. If you don't, it's okay. You're doing really well. Good job. Okay, so then I would say, my name, Elaine Arsons. So I, full name, birth, date of birth, place of birth, time of birth if you know it, city, town, state, province, and country in full source sovereignty. Sovereignty is SOVEREIGNTY, and with the witnessed authority of, and then name your team. So people have guides that they've been working with, but I always just say if you're going to write down guide's name, like Yeshua or Miriam, Mother Mary, write of unconditional love. So only guides of unconditional love, only angels of unconditional love, only archangels of unconditional love. And even your higher self of only unconditional love, right? Because we just want to be super careful and crystal clear. And then I affirm, I claim my work as a light worker in this time space and all in source's name. Affirm, I claim my work as a light worker in this time space and all in source's name. Okay. And then keep writing. You're doing well. Okay. So all, and I put capital ALL, all contracts, cords, CORDS, vows, VOWS. Spelling doesn't matter, but just in case you don't understand the word I'm saying. So all contracts, cords, vows, karmic agreements, karmic unjust connections, any unfair preordained soul contracts, soul ties, energetic connections, unjust death, harm on all levels, anytime my soul has been hijacked with cosmic manipulation, with 3D inversion, inversion, or cosmic trickery, like trick, trickery, by beings pretending to be God, or white light. So again, affirm, I claim my work as a light worker in this time, space, and all in Source's name. All contracts, cords, CORDS, vows, VOWS, karmic agreements, karmic, KARMIC, karmic agreements, karmic unjust connections, any unfair preordained soul contracts, soul ties, energetic connections, unjust death, harm on all levels, anytime my soul has been hijacked with cosmic manipulation, with 3D inversion, INVERSION, or cosmic trickery, TRICKERY, by beings pretending to be God, or white light. And then I put this in capital letters. I revoke in full what was installed without permission in this body must go. What was placed over what this body actually is must go. The cellular buffer built for protection is no longer needed and releases in its own appointed source-directed timing. So again, I revoke in full what was installed without permission in this body must go. What was placed over what this body actually is must go. The cellular buffer built for protection is no longer needed and releases in its own appointed source-directed timing. Are all severed, dissolved, and nullified across all timelines, past, present, future, all dimensions, 3D, 4D, 5D, and beyond, all incarnations, Earth and elsewhere. Okay, so repeating it. So what was placed over what the body actually is must go. Good. The cellular buffer built for protection is no longer needed and releases in its own appointed source-directed timing. Breathe. Are all severed, dissolved, and nullified across all timelines, all timelines, past, present, future, all dimensions, 3D, 4D, 5D, and beyond, all incarnations, Earth and elsewhere, updated in the Akashic records, which are your soul's complete history across timelines. And we're asking that they be updated by Anubis and Anput. Anubis is Anubis, and Anput, Anput. They work together. They're together, the divine masculine and the divine feminine. They did the records in the Egyptian expression or timeline. The book of life, the divine records of all souls and their contracts. The tapestry, Tapestry. I'm not sure if that one is necessary, but it's been kind of used and spoken about for 4 decades or 4 or 5 decades, so I'm including it. So the tapestry, which is the interwoven web of all connections, karma, and agreements. And Anubis and Anput will know what is true and what needs to be updated and what is false. So we're releasing that to them, but we're naming it just to be safe. So the tapestry, the interwoven web of all connections, karma, and agreements. The cosmic records, the records recorded by Thoth, Thoth, in the Egyptian tradition. I revoke all permission for any access to my energy, to draw from my field, remain in my timeline, on Earth, or anywhere, hold any claim on my resources, body, and sovereignty. I reclaim this body, this Lightworker's body, in source, moving through the sovereign instrument of the embodied being on Earth in a 3D body. I reclaim my innocence. I reclaim my devotion to God, Source, Divine Presence. I reclaim my energy. I reclaim my power. I reclaim my body. I reclaim my service to Source as a light worker. And then witnessed by, and then name your team. You can put God, Source, Divine Presence, the angels, archangels of unconditional love. You can name particular ones like Archangel Michael, but of only unconditional love. So I just name everybody with unconditional love just to be secure. And you'll know what guides have stepped forward for you. And then again, we're going to say, let it be updated in the Akashic records, the book of life, the tapestry, and the cosmic records with Thoth, Thoth, from the Egyptian timeline tradition, and Anubis, Anubis, and Anput, Anput, in the Egyptian tradition. I claim this decree in Source's name. I claim this Lightworkers Fear Release decree in Source's name. It is sealed. It is irreversible. It is declared. I am not of their realm, and this realm has no claim on what I am. Good. And then I wrote it again. Because we're basically saying we are not of the 3D material plane. We are source originated. So I wrote it again. I am not of their realm, REALM. And this realm has no claim on what I am, meaning it's you and source, source mirroring source. And so be it. It is done, claimed, sovereign, no vacancy, signed in sovereignty, and your full name, and today's full date. Just notice how your body's feeling, especially the jaw, the teeth, nervous system. Okay, so now you've signed it, and then you're going to read it out loud 3 times. I know it's going to feel a lot because a lot's going to come up in your body, but it's important for us to notice what happens with the body with a very simple piece of paper with very simple words, right? Because then that means they're not so simple. So read it out loud 3 times, okay? And then go into the kitchen and get your pot ready. And then you're going to burn it. Hold it with the tongs because the flame actually can go quite big, even though it's 1 piece of paper. And then you're going to sprinkle it with some sea salt. And then I would just suggest holding your piece of paper over the pot, okay? And then just hold the pot. You can even use oven mitts. It can actually go quite high. I've seen it go very high. And it's just 1 piece of paper. And then just make sure all of it burns. So I call them the sneaky snakes. So there's lots of things that they don't like being updated. And the things that I've noticed in people doing the decrees is they don't like it being updated in the cosmic records with Thoth. That one doesn't burn. Okay, the other thing is I'm not of their realm. They don't like that. That one doesn't burn. And then particular names. So yeah. So burn it safely. You're an adult. Keep in mind that you're collecting the ashes and you're going to put salt on them and then flush them down the toilet. Follow your own intuition, follow your gut instinct. Okay? Always use your own discernment. So important in this work. Okay, so aftercare, just some practical support. If you can, have a foot soak. Feet are grounding points, soaking them in salt water and Epsom salts. Even if you can't get in the ocean, you could put your feet in the ocean if you can. It helps release the density through the root and stabilize the crystalline structure in the inner body. And it really helps the nervous system, right? So it gives your body the mineral and energetic support that it's asking for. Be in nature, be good to yourself, rest as you need it. Okay, let's end here. Sealing all in Source's golden light. Use your discernment, keep what resonates, and leave the rest. You're doing very well. This is a big one. Subscribe for updates, get notifications for the next YouTube live. Come and ask questions. Come say hi. Let me know how it went. I love updates. I love questions. See you in the next one. Take care of your heart. My heart to yours.